Hey, I'm Gavin Rossdale, and you're watching Fuse on Demand. Get it when you want it.
I'm the most unpolitically correct person you'll meet, and I'm very, very proud of that. I've done it all. There's no question about it. I love people betting against me. The whole hip-hop culture just, kind of stung me as a kid. I'm Kid Rock. I'm an American badass.
Kid Rock, you're on the record with Fuse.
How are you?
Good, how you doing, man?
Or should we call you Bob? Because that's what you introduced yourself as.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm good with.
What is this? Where are we?
This is, I guess you could call it the warehouse, world headquarters. It's kind of the spot where we all convene and work up our scheme to take over the world.
You're a bit of a king in Detroit. You're a regular man, but people love you around here and they love that you're still here. And
yeah, man, I mean, Rev Run told me years ago, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. I give a lot of love to my city and the people where I'm from, and they give that back to me, and I don't think there's any amount of sunshine or pretty women or, living in any hills or big city anywhere that could ever outshine that.
when I look at you, I think working class hero. But you come from a nice, comfortable background.
Yeah, we had horses, we had a beautiful house. My dad had a car dealership. I gave up everything to be where I'm at right now. A job in the family business, a shot to go to college, and there was no backup plan to be where I'm at. And how can I explain this? It's I can honestly walk around with my head held high, whether people like me or not, and be proud of who I am, because even though I've made a ton of money, I've never made an unhonest dollar off one of my fans or a working man's back ever. And that's something I'm very proud of.
Where did you first fall in love with hip hop?
Man, it was probably Run DMC. The whole hip hop culture just, kind of stung me as a kid. I was the only white kid getting beat up at every concert that came to Detroit.
So when you're 14, you got kicked out of the house?
Yeah, somewhere around there. My brother was struggling with drugs. As a sibling, you had to go sit in these programs. I was just like, this is a bunch of horse. And I wouldn't open up, and so someone started picking on me. I was like, you can suck my... I was like, what do you think of that? And then next week, my mom said, you're gonna go back and apologize to everyone. I said, no, I'm not. And she said, cool, get your stuff out of here by the time I get home. I had some of my black friends from Mount Clemens came and got me, let me stay with them in the projects. And I think one time my mom came and picked me up for the dentist. It was really embarrassing. I'm like trying to be a crack dealer and a big DJ down there, and they're like, who's that? I'm like, oh, that's my mom. I gotta go to the dentist. I'll be back later tonight. See you.
And you had a real complex relationship with your dad.
Well, yeah, my parents didn't have a clue what I was up to. They had no idea what I was doing in my bedroom with, a couple turntables and, some old drum machines. But then when all these black kids started coming over and started picking me up and taking me to the other side of town to DJ parties, and they're like, what the hell's going on? So it was a lot of, just butting heads. My dad couldn't figure out, why do I want to go off and do this, In his eyes, I just wanted to be black.
Did you?
Yeah, I probably did for a while.
It's interesting. Your son is half black, right?
Yep.
And he...
Half white.
Half white, too. But how do you teach him or tell him, what it means to be black as well as what it means to be white?
I can't really tell him that. I let all my black friends tell him that.
I love your song, Black Chick, White Guy, from Early Morning Stone Pip. I mean, does it really tell the story accurately of the relationship?
Probably too accurately. I got sued over it.
Your boy listened to that and have...
I've never listened to it with him. I'm sure he might have dug it up here and there, but we've never really talked about it. When the time comes and he's interested, I'll sit down and talk to him, tell him the truth.
It's got to be a difficult sort of balance to have the rock and roll life, plus, you party.
Of course I do. It's actually kind of funny. I was up 6 o'clock in the morning, his first day of school, and I got a text from one of my friends in the business, and he goes, by the way, I'm not going to blow your cover and tell everybody that Kid Rock's up at 6 in the morning. And I texted him back, I said, hold on. I said, Bob Ritchie's up at 6 in the morning. Make no mistake, Kid Rock's passed out in a hotel somewhere with, 6 scantily clad women and a bottle of Jim Beam next to him.
But there's that separation that Bob is the dad, not Kid Rock, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look around this place, it's all Kid Rock everything, and my house is nothing in it. Very modest, little farmhouse, set back in the woods that when I go out and rage, I go hard, but when I come home, you know, it's a different mode. It's always one of the greatest compliments I get, you know. Forget the music and everything else is when people say like, "Wow, what a great man and what a nice son you have." And I think that's one of my biggest accomplishments in life.
Before you were huge, you were a studio janitor?
Pretty much, for lack of a better term, I was an engineer, and yeah, I swept the floors in the studio and tidied things up. And in return, they let me use the back room to record my independent records.
Can you talk about your dad bankrolling your label?
Well, you call it bankrolling. I asked my uncle for like 20,000. My uncle's like, "I can't do that unless you ask your dad first." I'm like, God, I do not want to ask my pop for this, man. That's the last person I want involved in this. My dad gave me like, he made me document everything, gave me like $4,500. And I turned that into about 120 grand in like 7 months. And I don't think he still got it. He was like, "Oh, that's cute, you know?" Like when I got my deal with Atlantic, the A&R guy will tell you, he's like, "Your dad was asking me during the show, after we just given you hundreds of thousands of dollars, he's asking, don't you think you could talk him into this just being a hobby, something he could do on the weekends?"
And you fought for it for a long time. You got dropped from labels twice.
Yeah, that was almost 10 years in after I put my first record out on Jive.
Yeah.
When I was 18. And with Devil Without a Cause, I knew what I needed to do. You know, this rap rock thing was coming, and I could see it coming like a freight train. I also knew that freight trains go fast, and it was gonna go like this. But I knew that was my door to get in.
You're hot in Detroit, but not really nationally. So what is the difference? Is it that you changed, that you got the right promotion?
Honestly, it was MTV. I knew that, you know, I'd sold 14,000 records out of my basement in the backseat of my car, locally. I knew kids were interested, and I just had to get to them. When we got the videos played, it got me to the people. And once it got to the people, we couldn't stop it.
I've heard you say that you just yell on the mic, but what you're doing is more sophisticated than just yelling.
Well, nowadays it is, but, you know, a lot of stuff on Devil Without a Cause and some of my early records, just totally, you know, I'm on 150, you know, I'm 6th gear, pedal to the metal, just going for it. That's why I'm screaming, "My name is Cat." You know, I just pictured myself on top of a mountain screaming at God, you know, because it was my do or die record. It's not the drugs and the partying that I think get people so much, it's the fame.